Lego is no longer for kids, or at least that's a popular opinion I've been seeing circle around the Lego space for quite a while now, and this video today is no exception. After YouTube recommending it to me like so many times over the last week, I finally was like, all right, I gotta click onto it. And then I immediately was like, I have so many thoughts. Let's talk about it. Let's get into it.
But I think they can be summed up in 3 points. Too much catering to adults, too much focus on accuracy/detail, and an over-reliance on pre-established brands.
Okay, I think that these are all pretty fair points going into it. Let's see how these arguments are made.
I'm also by no means a Lego expert. I don't have in-depth knowledge of the brand beyond my own experiences.
I appreciate him acknowledging that, and just really quickly in here, so I also put my own. I didn't play with it much as a kid, and I got into it in 2022. Ooh, why did I say it like that? 2022, I got into Lego, so a lot of my knowledge just comes from me being obsessive and looking up things instead of like actually being present for when a lot of these Lego changes were made.
Short is the culprit. In a nutshell, the dude basically says just about everything in this set sucked. I'm well aware this is most likely rage bait, because whether or not this guy's mentality is real or not, there are people who think this way.
I think sometimes when you look at these Lego sets that are older, you have to give the sets a little bit of grace, because we get new pieces added for Lego sets all the time. Even with the new Christmas tree set that's coming out this holiday season, which I've watched like 2 or 3 review videos of now. That's a new leaf piece that we haven't had before, and new pieces come out all the time. And so you can't really judge these old sets for maybe not looking as good as they would look if they were created now, because a lot of the bricks that we had to make things like this just weren't around.
Being 100% accurate to the show was not the point. You get the entirety of SpongeBob's neighborhood, a ton of play features, and all at an affordable price.
I do agree that this was a fun way for kids to be able to interact and play with Lego. This has a 6.9 cent price per brick, which usually is what our art sets are now, and I would call our art sets fantastic values. Yes, fantastic price. We do see it sometimes today, but it's really accessible for kids. And then not to mention the play features. A lot of modern Lego sets have been lacking in, like for Star Wars, battle packs, and then also play features. That was a big critique I saw with the Lego Death Star, is that the play features on it, when they are there, suck. So I just really want to hammer this through. We have more pieces available now that we can make them look better, but that also means we should get cooler play features.
But it was a play set for children that they were gonna, play with. Not a model for adults that's gonna sit on a shelf. Legos are barely for kids anymore.
I think these kind of are 2 separate conversations. It's like adults getting into Legos and then Lego not catering as much to kids. I think going back to the 90s, there was adults who were into Lego. It just was shunned out more by the Lego community until I think 2008, when we got the Lego architecture series. And that was because a lot of architects actually had a lot of fun building models out of Lego.
First and foremost, I don't have any problems with sets that are solely aimed at adults. Any sort of model that is meant to be stuck on a shelf is totally fine.
Again, I think this is a totally fresh take. You don't see this a lot with people who are critiquing Lego, because I do think there's been a lot of cool things we've been able to get out of Lego because we've been getting those ones that are meant to be models. Trevi Fountain is a fantastic example of that.
These sorts of sets don't in any way, shape, or form encroach on Legos for kids. The issue is Lego targeting adults doesn't start and end with these. It bleeds over to the more play-oriented sets.
I agree, especially when you look at what has been going on with Star Wars over the last little bit and what we've been getting released. We've been just getting a ton of like, here's a model with a special plaque. And I think some of that's the like model and they can charge more. And so like, yeah, I'm going for it.
Now, this is harder to tell with something like Star Wars. Ironically.
Okay, he said he's not a Lego expert, so I'm not critiquing, but I'm adding here. I think Star Wars is a property meant for all ages. I have no issue with the Jabba the Hutt barge, the Millennium Falcon, Jango Fett's thingy, or the Razor Crest. I think those are all really cool sets, but it is a bummer when we're really not getting much coming out that are small, little fun sets. Speaking of which, because it was pretty recently announced, are you getting the Gingerbread AT-AT Walker? I was really, really excited to see this one because I think that one's going to be totally a oriented towards kids set, but I like Christmas a lot, so I'll probably be getting that one.
The average parent cannot afford to spend $260 on a single set.
I feel kind of mixed on this because when I go to LEGO launches, I'm always careful about filming other people because there are usually parents with children around. My understanding on those, it's been like a here's your birthday present sort of thing. Definitely if parents are buying LEGO sets, I feel like it's probably a lot less than they were like maybe before for kids.
And it's a far more accurate depiction of the thing it's representing because of that increased piece count. But that's not a boon for children.
I do feel a little bit with Harry Potter that the audience is now a little bit older, so these playsets also might not be getting created for it because I think the audience for it is older. When it was coming out, I was a little bit too young for it. And I'm now 26. I remember it being like the younger millennials that were really into Harry Potter, and then like a few people that I went to school with. But I was more in the Twilight era.
Even if you do want to go for a cheaper set, that detail-oriented nature, it's still an issue.
I also think now, too, with kids having access to the internet, I've seen a lot more when I'm waiting in line, the kids themselves talking about accuracy. And I know this is just anecdotal experience. Me hearing 3 kids on launch day talk about how excited they are for the Lego One Piece Going Merry because it's accurate to the anime, which, trust me, I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole because once they start talking about that, I'm not going to stop. I do think that potentially there is some element, too, of the kids caring about the accuracy as well, because like now you have the whole world at your fingertips and you can see when things are inaccurate. So I don't know if that's 100% a fair point to make. But again, all my experience with that has been anecdotal. I don't have a child. I'm just overhearing things while standing in a Lego line, and like even if it's just a small subset of kids, it could just be that I've happened to bump into them.
But I find most of these inexpensive sets totally boring.
I would agree with that. I have also looked at the smaller Hogwarts sets, like, for example, the herbology class that came out pretty recently. And I was like, why would I get that? There's, like, nothing cool to it.
Sorry, little kids. If you like Harry Potter or Marvel or whatever, LEGO fans like as much detail and accuracy as possible.
It's funny you points out Marvel. I feel like, I don't know how long LEGO Marvel goes back, but with LEGO Marvel, we actually do get good play sets. Like we get the battle mechs a lot with those, and I think for a kid those are super fun to play with, and we actually do get a good amount of play sets in those. Marvel, they definitely, I feel like, cater kind of to the adults and the kids in that one a little bit better, so I just really do think that Harry Potter probably has an older audience now.
What original lines? LEGO currently has 6. Monkey Kid and Ninjago both have the problem of a lot of really expensive sets.
I do think with Ninjago, we do get a lot of younger sets, and I believe the TV show is still coming out. If not, then it's fully on YouTube. We do see younger sets in there still, but I do also think that the kids that were doing Ninjago back then are the ones who are now buying the bigger adult sets. For Ninjago, and I can really only speak to city markets, do have a lot of really cool kind of play features to them and a lot of fun things going on with them. I also, weirdly enough, have noticed there is been a big trend of kids, maybe like 10 to 12 years old, who want to do project builds, which is very interesting to me.
Actually, I'm sort of lying because the Minecraft line does actually address most of my complaints.
I was literally just about to say, what about the Minecraft sets? I built a little bit of Lego Minecraft, and I just did this one, and it was like $50, and I'm like, this is totally attainable. It's actually pretty solid, too, if you were to play with it. I mean, like, it's not breaking. Even... Oh my god. Actually, even within here, too, there's, like, the fun little feature of the head opening up. It's quite posable. It moves around like how it should, and it'd be totally fine for, like, a kid who, again, is not going to try to eat. So I do feel like actually fun enough, Lego Minecraft, which I was about to bring up, does solve some of those issues.
Now, for the sake of argument, let me level my one suggestion so at least I can say I tried. If Lego is going to focus so much on pre-established properties, they should offer multiple versions of the same concept.
We do see this sometimes, but probably not as often as we should. So for example, in a June release, we had the 101 Dalmatians puppy, which is quite big, and it's clearly a shelf set that is meant to go on a shelf. But then we also got the Lucky and Penny that was at a significantly more attainable cost for kids. Did it look quite as good? No, but clearly those were meant to be able to be played with. So sometimes we are getting that, just probably not as often as we need to.
Adults who are hankering for the quote-unquote good old days are highly susceptible to this. They'll buy whatever crap you put in front of them.
I don't doubt that's a thing. I don't doubt that there's adults with this trying to recapture some of their youth with it and like that nostalgia feeling. I don't want to deny that being a thing at all because I'm sure it exists, but I wanted to give my own perspective as somebody who only really had interactions with Lego as a kid through that one Lego set I used to pull apart and put back together. I got into Lego 3 years ago at 23 years old, and for me, when I think of things from my childhood, that would be definitely watching the Barbie movie. For me, was a little bit of recapturing nostalgia. Barbies, Bratz, Polly Pockets, like those are more my thing. As a kid, I always felt like Lego was more for boys. I don't know if it was my parents saying that. I don't know where that idea came from. I think it was a lot of seeing Lego City and it's like the fire trucks and the police cars and stuff like that. And that was something personally I was not interested in. I also am totally that person who likes to build their IKEA furniture. I like making things with instructions. I love baking. I like following instruction, things like that, to have a creation at the end. And I think there's just something fun to building models of things. A lot of my favorite Lego sets have been models of things that are real. I also think my experience is probably something that a lot of women who've gotten into Lego probably can mirror.
At the end of the day, I don't think Lego should be for me, an adult. Ultimately, I've had my fun.
Yeah, so now we're broaching into that category of, like, I think those are two separate conversations. To me, it's very much a possibility where adults still can be getting these crazy high-quality sets, and kids can also be getting fun play sets. There's been a lot of Lego launches that are well over 100 sets, and I don't know why we couldn't even get, like, 20% of them targeted fully towards kids. I don't see why these have to be two separate conversations when there's so many Lego drops that are absolutely insane and huge throughout the year.
At some point, a video game, whether that's a more traditional one or a mobile game, seemingly offers a whole lot more.
Even within that, I do feel like everything for kids that you would think of nowadays has gotten more expensive. PlayStations are way more expensive than they used to be. Playing online is a thing now, and it's quite expensive.
Maybe this was a completely unhinged ramble, and I come across like a total ignoramus.
I don't think he comes across like a total ignoramus, and I think there's a lot of good points in here, and I just want to make that very clear in case he finds this video. I just think that there is this point where like both can exist. Both can exist. Adults in the space can exist, and sets for kids can also exist, and those can be at the same launches, and it's fine. Let me know if you agree or disagree, or if you have anything to add to the points I made or he made in the video. That'd be great. If you do have a kid in your life, please let me know what Lego sets are gravitated towards, because I'd be very curious to hear. And I just want to say thank you so much for watching the video to this point. It seriously helps me out so much, and I want to give an extra special thank you to my channel members, and I will see you guys next time. Okay, bye!